Hello viewers, this is Aryan Jain, the team leader of Blackwing, and we propose the solution of RAPP. Now RAPP is, in simple words, a simple platform which is decentralized as it's blockchain based, and via this platform all the companies who have the requirement of procuring raw materials or any other order for that matter, they can come on this platform and share their listings. They can get their requirements listed, and all the vendors which they have in contact as well as the vendors which are publicly available shall be notified about their listings, and they can thus share them initial codes. Now what differentiates us from the existing B2B solutions where businesses transact with each other, they share their services with each other, is that RAPP gives you the option to go for reverse auction. And like as the name suggests, RAPP stands for reverse auction procurement platform. So via reverse auctioning, basically the vendors get the power, they get the upper hand, because now vendors are competing with each other, and the companies, well, since it was their listing, and through their listing they basically wanted their requirements being met, the companies now finally have the bargaining power to themselves again. So this is what differentiates, what I can say, procuring of platform via the offline means or the web 2 means compared to the this web 3 means which we are proposing today. So if we now currently all the modules of RAPP are basically working locally via localhost. Please excuse me for my cough, like it's a bit tough these days, but anyways, like I was saying, all the individual models are deployed locally on the local host. We would be shortly deploying it, and deploying is something which would be very easy for RAPP, because the on-chain components of RAPP, they're basically free for life, because it takes very minimum to no amount for a project to be run on blockchain. And the on-chain components of RAPP are basically the registration components which you can see from here, and the reverse auctioning components. So these components are the ones which run on-chain. So basically these are the only parts of the entire system which are basically minted via blockchain. So we would see the entire flow. Let me just start with the login process. So if you come over here, we have implemented OAuth, and if you are a user who already has an account in RAPP, so you would be brought back to this callback, the auth callback, where you have to continue your profile. So what happens is that in B2B transactions, an entity signs up as both company or a vendor. So if they want, they can continue as company, or they can switch to the vendor profile as well. So once the OAuth is complete, and once the access token and refresh tokens are issued by the backend, which you can see from over here. So as you can see, we already have the access token and the refresh token with us. So you can now continue your profile. So if you continue as company, you would be greeted to your company dashboard, where you can do your further transactions. You can manage your mentors, and you can also create your new listing. And if you do the same for vendor login, so that's the similar flow for vendor. If you choose the account that you have already used to sign up and get going with, then you will directly see continue option, and you can directly continue your login and be greeted to your respective platform. Now the thing about the entire auth flow is that if you are new to this account, let's take this account for example, then you would have to complete your auth registration. Let me just set this account for both the company as well as the vendor profile. So as you can see, like it's telling me to create a profile first. If I go to my company profile and if I create a new company profile, I'll just say new company for this case. Let me just put in fields. If I go create profile and continue, so the profile has been created, and since the even the blockchain implementation has been done locally, if you see in the logs, the transaction was successful for the registration of this new company. So now our chain is on block 1, and this is like the details of the entire transaction. We also got the transaction ID. The technological stack which we are using is simple. So like we are using Laravel and MySQL. Let me just continue with my profile, like the auth flow. Now as we already have a company registration, we can directly continue as company. Let me just quickly complete the vendor profile as well for this account. So if we just let me just fill the fields, like these fields, like right now at this point are not validated, so that it's easier for me to test each and every component. But like once it's time to deploy stuff, then obviously we would be adding the necessary validations to it. It's just that it's disabled at the moment. As you can see, like now this account is both, like, has completed the auth flow for both company as well as vendor, so it can go to its company as well as the vendor profile. And similarly our chain, our blockchain is also updated to block number 2 now, and this is like the details for the transaction. Now the like, yeah, talking about the technical side, so obviously, like on the blockchain end, we have used hard hat and solidity to write up contracts, and the web 2 end, which basically orchestrates the off-chain components of the entire application, it's written in Laravel. Now why did we choose Laravel? Because we basically wanted this system to be up and running as fast as possible, and shared hosting, the plans of shared hosting is something which is more accessible for you. So if you were to take a user base of about 100 to 1,000 users, where 1,000 users, like there are companies, there are vendors, like all of them, so it's easier to scale up to 1,000 on a shared hosting plan. But like once things go further than 1,000 users, then we can easily shift the entire Laravel system to a VPS. So what we are basically ensuring is that we are basically bootstrapping this entire project from scratch, because like I said, shared hosting plan, it is very cheap to to purchase and to implement. And if you were to talk about the Laravel side of things, well, it works fantastically well with shared hosting plans. And if you were to again like migrate to VPS, then you can simply convert all your synchronous API calls to asynchronous, so that you can further then balance the load among all the users. And the database side of things, since it's a shared hosting plan, currently it's rocking MySQL, and these are the tables. If you were to see what we were using the blockchain for, so the registration part was minted, like as you had seen in by these transaction logs. So we have basically saved the transaction, the blockchain transaction ID for companies as well as the vendors. Now this is the blockchain transaction hash. Now this transaction hash would basically be used as the identifier for these companies. Now so whenever the company has to, let's say, create a new listing, or submit a bid from the vendor point of view, then they would be using this transaction as the unique identifier for their company or for their vendor profiles. And this hosts the connections. Now this module is currently work in progress at the moment, but I'm sure, like, once the video gets live at your end, we would pretty much be completed with our MVP. The entire project is effectively managed via GitHub. We are, like, totally believe in CI/CD. So GitHub is like the best platform which helps us do that. And CI/CD, well, obviously the journey starts when we start with the hosting process. And since hosting right now at the moment is easier for us, because blockchain modules would be directly translated to the Sepolia testnet. We would be using Sepolia or any other equivalent Ethereum testnet to deploy our blockchain module, and the entire backend module would basically be deployed on any shared hosting plan. Now the implementation which we have right now, like the further implementation for RAPP in general, is that we would be focusing on the, what I can say, the yeah, so we would be focusing on the reverse auctioning part now. Since it's a reverse auction, and if you were to just visualize reverse auctioning, then there's one listing listed by a company, and there are multiple vendors who are participating in that that entire reverse auction. So they have to basically give the lowest price, and while doing this, obviously none of the vendors can see what other vendors are participating in the reverse auction. Only the company has the access to see who all vendors are participating in the reverse auction. And the vendors, while they are in the reverse auction, they are only able to see their ranks. So this is exactly how things are implemented on the existing B2B platforms, where raw material procurement is a necessity. We could take Lafarge Holcim for example. Before their merger, Lafarge under ACC used to do this, where companies would come and give their listings, and many vendors would basically then compete and give the lowest price to get the order. So this is how the flow has been working with the entire B2B platform. But by adding blockchain, we are basically making things secure for both the vendors as well as the companies. And also, like, we are ensuring that these transactions are immutable now. Because what used to happen in the existing web2 solutions, even if the vendor had the lowest price, they usually didn't get the order, because the company or the admin, for that matter, or had the power or had the authority to alter their result. So now that power is no longer at the company or the admin of the platform. Now since these transactions are being governed by the smart contracts of the deployed blockchain network, so there is no question of what I can say, cheating in this case. So this is what differentiates us, and this is the reason why RAPP right now is necessary for the B2B communications, so that the entire process of the entire hassle which used to be for procuring raw materials is no longer a case. So that was it for RAPP, and that was it for Blackwing. This is me, Aryan Jain, team leader of Blackwing, and I hope like this solution turns out to be the finest solution which our nation has seen right now. Thank you.